Hey y'all, Danielle Ty in this thing. Happy Thursday. Today, I am going to touch on a topic that I have been staying far away from, that comes up in my mind every so often, and I'm like, should I really share this story? It's one of the most traumatic stories that I've ever been through, most controversial, the most life-changing story for me. And when I sat and reflected, and I'm really having this conversation with God, I'm asking, like, should I really have this conversation? It's going to be a lot of people who don't agree with it, a lot of people who don't know, a lot of people who won't understand, why are you even telling this part of your life, or why are you telling your business? But when I really reflected on it, what I really can say is that from starting this YouTube and really talking about my experiences and being vulnerable, it has brought me so much healing. Not just talking about it and recording myself talk about it, but to actually put it out there and share it. It's literally healed so many parts of me, like just from telling my truth, but not being afraid to put it out there. And it's not for everybody, but I feel like God blessed me with the talent to be able to story tell. And he's blessed me to touch people with some of my stories. So what I'm talking about today is, as you can tell from the title, is abortion. Okay? So we just gonna get straight into it. So what led me to think about this topic and talk about it is because I seen this girl post this video that said why you should get married before you have children. So I looked at her video, and she was talking about how she decided to have these two children by these two different men. And she really realized, like, it's an honor for you to carry a man child, but also it's an honor for you to be the one carrying it. Like, they should honor you. You're doing them an honor. So are you really doing this with honorable men? And she was just like, if I would have went into these relationships with the goal of, like, I'm going to marry this person, we wouldn't have even got that far. I was only with them for 2 years, and we would have never even got through half of that if I would have, like, waited. And I'm going to make sure I put her video in the link in case y'all want to check it out. But she was just talking about how the women in her family had kids without getting married and had kids with different baby daddies and things like that. And she was like, I thought I was going to be the one to change things, but I wasn't. I followed in the same footsteps, but I don't want to do that with my children. And she was like, and a lot of us learn by, well, we don't learn. We get told by our parents, don't just have sex with anybody. Do this, don't mess up your credit. It'll just be these surface level statements like, don't do this, but they don't never tell you the real why. So it's like, I had to think about it. It's like when you tell a child, don't touch the stove. If they don't know anything, they're not even understanding why you're saying don't touch the stove. Like, maybe if you really try to make them understand the why, the reason for not doing it would make more sense. I apply this to work. If you telling me not to do something, but you're not telling me the right way to do it or why you don't want me to do it, am I really learning something there? So she was just talking about, like, they never really explained to me why you should wait to get married, but at the same time, none of them did, so they wasn't teaching me that. So it had me really starting to think, like, now we're going into the story. When I got pregnant, when I was still in high school, I was a senior in high school. And it was with somebody who I had been with, the only person I was really with in high school. And it was just about to be the end of senior year. And my birthday was in January. I was just about to turn 18. And I waited so long before I told my mom. And, from the time I had found out about it to the time I had told her, in between that time, I was going back and forth if I really wanted to have this baby. And, me and him had talked about it, and I'm like, I don't know what we gonna do. You work here, I'm working at Jamba Juice. Like, I just seen my whole future just like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but now it put so much pressure on, like, it don't matter what you want to do. What are you going to do? And I had been so naive to think that it wouldn't happen to me, that now that I was in that situation, I wanted somebody to make decisions for me, because it was the most lost I've ever been in my life, you know. So I waited a long time before I told my mom. And in between that, me and him have been having conversations at school. I'm emotional at school. Don't nobody know why. I'm trying to hide it from everybody, you know. It was just a really crazy time in my life. But I remember we had kept on going back and forth. And he was like, you know, if you decide to have this baby, I'm going to be here for you. That's really what he wanted. But he was like, if you don't decide to have this baby, I'm going to still be there for you. I'm going to support you no matter what you want to do. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So when I finally worked up the courage to tell my mom, and my mom didn't even know I wasn't a virgin no more. So when I came to her, literally, I just said, Mom, I got something to tell you. And she said, you ain't a virgin no more. And I was like... We passed that now. And when I gave her this look, like, she was like, you pregnant? Like, she knew, like, it's not funny. But when I look back now, she was literally on the phone. And I came in there and I said, Mom, I need to talk to you about something. And I caught her when she was on the phone thinking she was going to be like, yeah, wait till I get off the phone. She went, let me call you back. I was like, damn. It must have been written all over my face. And then, you know, I told her without telling her. She already said it. And, you know... we cried. And then she was like, you gotta tell your dad. And then I told my dad. And basically, you know, the first thing that she had asked me was like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to keep it. And she said, why? I said, because I don't believe in abortions. But that's it. Like, I didn't even know why else did I want to keep this baby. And the deep part of me knows that I wanted to keep the baby to make him happy. I knew he wanted to keep the baby more than I did. I wanted somebody to choose for me. So, you know, when my mom basically was like, you don't even know what you want. She talked to him instead of him like coming to her like, yeah, this is what happened. I plan on being there. I'm sorry, but I love you. Da, 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 da. He was like, yep, that's what happened. And nope, we ain't gonna have no abortion. Da, 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 da. So my mom didn't like that. And you know what I understand is that we was both young. Like, how was he supposed to approach it like a man, and he wasn't a man yet? And I was scared, and because I wasn't a woman yet. We kids. So when my mom is like, you know, basically making a decision for me, like, no, you don't even really know why you finna have this abortion. I let her make that decision for me. I didn't fight her. I was just like, okay, you know? And as I've gotten older, I'm grateful that my mom did that. You know, at that time, I was going back and forth with him. And when I was talking to him about it, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But when my mom came in and basically was like, I'm going to make the decision for you, I didn't fight. And that's when I knew that I wasn't ready. Because it's some women or girls get pregnant and they will fight. They're like, no, I know what I want. I want this baby, and I didn't fight. And, you know, I always thank her for that because, you know, I'm just grateful for where I am now. Like, that is a big part of why I don't want to have kids now. You know, a little bit of me is guilt, because it's like, if I have a child now, I guess I'll always think about the child that I didn't have. It played a big factor into who I am today, which is why I'm like, you know, this is something that I should talk about, because I can't just act like it never happened. And who am I really hiding it from? Like, it's not something that I'm ashamed of. It's something that happened in my life. I'm not the first. I'm not the last. And what did I really learn from it? You know what I'm saying? And from going through all of that, when I tell you that after I had the abortion, I went through a lot of depression. I went through a lot of rejection. I think it really had my self-worth and my value really low, you know, because of what happened after I had the abortion. I got broken up with. I never spoke about it again. Nobody knew about it. It was just like, it never happened. And that wasn't good for my healing process. You know what I'm saying? I needed to talk about it, acknowledge it. And I guess that's what I do with myself through all these years that have passed. And that's maybe this is the final chapter of it. You know what I'm saying? Actually not being afraid to share that. You know what I'm saying? Not being afraid of what people gonna say back, or people who didn't know they find out now. What do you think about me? Like, at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not the first, I'm not the last. And I've already gone through all the shame. I've gone through the guilt. I've gone through all the reflecting. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'm at now. I have growth from the situation. I had self-reflection. I assessed everything. I came to terms with everything. I know how I feel about everything, and I'm growing from everything, you know? And that's the main thing of it. And I'll just say that was the hardest decision I ever made in my life. Nothing has touched on that. And having to go through something like that when you're 17, 18 years old, it's definitely something that's life-changing. And for me to act like that never happened did not do me any good. And that's exactly why I realized I did the things I did when I was young. I was depressed and I didn't acknowledge that. I was mad at the world and didn't know why. And it's because I was dealing with something deeper than what I thought mattered. You know what I mean? So I'm putting this out there for myself, for my self-healing, for anybody who needs to hear this video, for anybody who wants somebody to relate with, for somebody who just going back and forth with it. Like, you know, I wanted somebody to answer it for me then. I wanted somebody to do it for me then. And, you know, it was, at the end of the day, it was still my decision. But like I said, I didn't fight for it. So I just think I made the right decision, and I'm grateful for my mom doing what she had to do, because I know it wasn't easy for her either, you know? And I'm proud of myself for putting this video out, because like I said, it's been something since I started YouTube, it's been a little bit over 2 years now. I've been like, should I talk about this? Should I not talk about this? But it's like, it's me, it's part of my story, it's part of my journey, it's literally part of who I am and how I got to where I am today. And if I'm talking all this truth and I'm being so vulnerable, then why not share something that has made me who I am, literally? Like, without that situation, I wouldn't have gone through so much that had me question so much, that had me, you know, really understand who I am. But I really appreciate y'all for watching. Make sure y'all stay tuned for the next one. And until then, peace.